One of the questions that I often ask them when I'm doing interviews with them is to tell a little bit about their own faith journey. Sort of how did they come from wherever they are to where they are now. And I wonder if I might start by asking you that. So could you tell us a little bit about your own faith journey and how you got to where you are now? Some of the highlights.
Sure. Let's see, I grew up in a family that was not practicing any religion. And I declared myself an atheist at an early age. We were living down in the South in Atlanta. And the few examples I had of religion, I thought were people who weren't very well educated. So I thought, oh, that's just a bunch of, uneducated stuff. I wasn't interested in it. And it was actually, there was this cool family I used to babysit for that was kind of young and hip and smart, doctor, all this stuff. And they went off to Bible studies. I thought that was kind of weird. And they invited me to go to church with them, and I did not want to go to church. That was really irreconcilable to me with what I believed. And they kept inviting me, and it got kind of hard to keep saying no. I was, you can only fake stomach aches about 12 weeks in a row, and then they finally get the message that you really don't want to go. So finally they gave up on me, and they said, well, maybe it doesn't matter so much that you go to church with us, but you might think of reading the Bible. And I thought, the Bible's this bestseller, it's this most famous book. I guess, to really properly debunk it and to be properly educated, I should read it, right? You can't be a really educated person without having read the Bible. So I thought, okay, I'll just read the Bible and then I'll be done with this. So I got one of those Bibles that had all the little check boxes, read through like 3 Old Testament, 2 New Testament each day, read it through in a year. And, actually, right before that, they suggested that I start with Proverbs. I thought, okay, that's nice. One for each day of the month. That's easy. So I started reading Proverbs, and it astonished me that it was so intelligent, actually. I kind of thought it would be full of all these like crazy, mythical, made-up gobbledygook, but instead there was like wisdom in every line. And it really opened my eyes that my belief that all of this was stupidity was just not proper. So from there I decided, oh golly, now I got to read the whole thing to be educated. And then when I got the little one, read it. And as I was reading, it started changing me, I have to say. I felt that the ideas and attitudes I had needed revising. I actually started to believe in God, but I didn't want to let anybody know because it wasn't consistent with what I wanted to be. And so I was kind of a closet believer in God for a while. Then I thought, oh, maybe this is just manipulating me, right? So then I decided I should start reading books from other faith traditions and going to visit, maybe not just visit a church, but if I was going to visit a church, I should visit a mosque and a temple and everything else I could find. And the Atlanta area had a lot of that. So I actually wound up doing a special topics class at our school. They had a special program. You could kind of do your own thing. And I was in that program. So I did a bunch of religious studies. And through this process, I went from being sure there was no God to thinking, who am I to say there's no God, to holy cow, I think there's not only a God, but this God is revealed to us through the scriptures. And then there's Jesus, the question of Jesus to deal with. And that one took a little bit longer for me. But then I have, there's an extraordinary amount of evidence for the person of Christ, not just historically, but in terms of the impact on people's lives. And so now I personally know that impact. It's been quite a journey.
Yeah, and fast forward a little bit to sort of where you are now as a computer scientist working at a prestigious university. How have the kinds of things that you hold to in your faith had an impact on the work that you do? So what is that intersection like for you?
Yeah, it's interesting. The Bible doesn't say use this equation instead of that one, or use this work instead of that. So the kind of science, I don't think it's had that much of an impact. Where it's had a bigger impact is on really my life in terms of how I treat other people. I had a privilege of spending a little time this afternoon with students here in the engineering leadership program. And people sometimes ask me, are there Bible verses that have influenced your science? It's kind of hard to find the direct influence there, but have they influenced my leadership style, the way I interact with people? oh yeah, I could dump 50 on you there, that make a daily difference. The challenge there is enormous, right? Treat other people as better than yourself. That sure isn't natural for me, right? Think of others more highly than yourself. That didn't come naturally. Thinking of others, for a lot of us who are just interested in our work, that was not, a big priority.